Hello, my name is Jackson Kliewer and you are watching the Tiger Hiline Online. We have some great stories to bring you today, including the Cinderella Spring Play by Jack Jorgensen, a Spring Play slideshow by Paul Adom-Boeteng, the Rec Center by Colby Coonradt, a Hearst Center slideshow also by Paul, Taken Big by Vilae, the Color Run slideshow also by Paul, Rugby by Colby again, and my podcast on Impressionism. Here is Cinderella by Jack Jorgensen.
Hard work and dedication pays off. On March 8th and 9th in the Cedar Falls Auditorium, over 70 students participated in the Cinderella musical. The play consisted of a background crew working on the curtains and the lights, an on-stage crew directed by Mr. Kranz and Miss Stamp, and an orchestra. Sophomore Owen Osborne explained how the teachers pushed everybody to perform at such a high level.
Mr. Kranz is a really good teacher. He's really helpful with the lyrics and the singing and all that. That really puts our musical together piece by piece like a puzzle.
You may ask, why might I want to go out for such an activity? Well, Senior Chase Klein explains all the benefits that come with performing in the musical.
You'll get varsity points, number one, for choir and band, depending on which side you want to do. If it's an activity that you enjoy, then, of course, go for it. If you have a passion for acting or playing music or even being a techie or having anything to do with theater production, go for it. You'll love it.
The tickets were sold for $9 apiece, and roughly 320 people attended the theater. Owen Osborne explains why the teachers pushed them to make it so that this would be such a big turnout.
I'd say that she's doing a really good job directing the play. She can be a little bit harsh at sometimes, but she's only doing it to make sure that the show's good. Some of the stuff that would make somebody want to go there is that she really makes sure that we stay in character the whole play. So it's more like a play rather than just people standing on stage singing and dancing.
This has been Jack Jorgensen reporting for the Tiger Hiline Online.
Here is the Cinderella slideshow by Paul Adom-Boeteng. Here is the Rec Center by Colby Coonradt.
The Cedar Falls Rec Center has been there for the community since 1993. The rec provides people to come in and get the exercise they need to reach their goals. It also provides many programs to young kids, including flag football, t-ball, and swim lessons. Also, adult leagues like dodgeball and softball. Bruce Viernick, Recreation and Community Program Manager, strives to make the rec the most affordable as possible so anyone can get on the great programs that the rec has. Bruce, in his years of manager, has stories of the rec center's success in teaching young kids.
Ball gets hit up in the air, he's watching it, he shields his eyes, turns away, puts his glove up, and somehow the ball kind of sticks in the glove. The smile on that kid's face, the smile on their face the first time they get a hit is without words, and that tells us that we're doing something right.
The rec provides a massive gym that is up to date with full rack of dumbbells, 2 squat racks, bench press racks, cables, and a ton of other machines to work certain muscles. Bruce loves seeing the transformation that people make after visiting the rec center.
3 months later, they're wearing tighter clothes, they've lost some weight, they're in spandex, they're happier, they have a smile on their face, they're happy when they come in, they're happy when they leave. Those are the rewards that we get.
Vickie Hartman, a fitness class teacher who has been teaching for 8 years, enjoys the ability to give her lessons to people who work for a goal and seeing their progression.
Really nice. I think it's a good, accepting gym where people have good attitudes, and you've got people of all levels coming together, and that's one of the things I like, is helping people to reach their goals no matter where they're starting at, to be able to get better and to reach the goals they want to.
Many students at CF use the rec's open gym to get their exercise and socialize with other students. The rec center has really made an impact on CF student Kate Halupnik. Kate visits the rec 4 times a week to play basketball and once in a while get a quick workout. I asked Kate how he felt before making daily visits to the rec.
Lazy, sitting on my couch, stuff like that, playing video games, stuff like that. And then got to the rec, just started working out, found a passion for it, just kept going, started to lose weight, got in shape, went from over 200 pounds to where I'm at now, which is like 160, and just made a good transformation there by going to the rec, and like the rec gave me that outlet to lose weight and all that stuff.
This has been Colby Coonradt reporting from the Tiger Hiline.
Here is the Hearst Center slideshow by Paul Adom-Boeteng. Here is Taken Bake by Catalin Vilae.
Welcome to Tiger Cafe, the place where students combine cooking with entrepreneurship.
This is Tiger Cafe, and we are prepping for take and bake meals. So this week we are making chicken and rice. So the students are preparing the chicken that will go into the casserole. So with take and bake meals, we make casseroles, and we either put them in the refrigerator or freezer for staff to come pick up, and then we make a side. So this week it's chicken and rice, and with a side of brownies. So we do small orders and large casseroles.
The CS program provides the cooking class with utensils and all they need in order to make their food delicious. Now, with Take and Bake, students can contribute to the whole process by selling the food they make to different buyers.
Alright, so when we sell to the staff, the funds that we make from selling go back right into our FCS program to help grow our program, buy groceries that we need, help replace equipment that we might need or it's just getting old. So that's kind of a great way to help us grow our program.
The students became best friends during this class, and now they have funny moments to share with each other.
Story of this class was my friend Jacob over here was making cakes, and he was reading the recipe, and it said to stack the cakes. Well, he thought that meant stack them in the oven before they were baking, so we had to help him, but he's gotten the hang of it now and he's doing a lot of good things.
Don't be afraid to try new things and take the class next year. You can be the one who contributes to Take and Bake and help the class develop in the future. This has been Catalin Vilae reporting for Tiger Hiline Online.
Here is the Color Run slideshow by Paul Adom-Boeteng. Here is Rugby by Colby Coonradt.
The Cedar Falls rugby team, which is actually a local sports club, has really made some noise this year. The huge increase of players every year in rugby, and it is now becoming a serious Cedar Falls sport. Rugby has drawn in many students from its exciting and constant action that live rugby brings. For example, first-year rugby player Ryan Dunlop was hooked on this team's attitude.
My players, they encourage me a lot, and we always have a fun time at practice, and it's just a really good time, fun game to play.
The team, coached by ex-rugby player Brent Piper, has made quite the leap into the amount of students that went out this year compared to last year.
Last year we had about a dozen kids, and this year we have 22 kids on our roster, so it's improved a lot.
With this new stacked rugby team, I asked Piper what surprises the team has brought this year.
First of all, the numbers, the amount of kids that came out and wanted to try out rugby, and then just the willingness for the kids to go out there and learn, and just the intensity and aggressiveness of the players that have come out.
Rugby is unlike any other sport. Its unique ability to have the most amount of contact as possible, or having the least amount of contact with the past tier teammates. Also, as Piper explains, rugby correlates to other sports as well.
If you're a football player, wrestler, basketball player, soccer player, baseball, you're going after the ball. We don't hit balls in rugby, but in baseball, you have to retrieve balls, chase. You run hard once you bat. So it can kind of correlate to almost any sport.
With this year's team being twice as large, captains Dakota Southworth, Austin Faust, and Jackson Gilbert plan to lead this year's team to the state championship. But no team can make it to the state championship without a little preparation.
We're going to start we've won 4 of our games so far, had 2 tough losses to 2 good teams. We plan on winning our last 6 games.
This is Colby Coonradt reporting from the Tiger Hiline.
Here is Impressionism by myself. In 19th century France, all expression through painting was controlled by the French Academy of Fine Arts. Appreciating depictions in traditional Renaissance-inspired detail of historical and religious figures, they idolized painters such as Jacques-Louis David, an 18th century neoclassic artist, while shunning others. The movement known as Romanticism grew in popularity throughout the arts, focusing on the optimistic concepts of the individual's singular power, as well as celebrations of nationalistic prosperity and hopes for a brighter future. But this optimism would dwindle as large-scale conflict became more prevalent during the industrial era and boundaries of science were continually pushed. Many painters shifted from depicting an idealized world to that which they saw every day, focusing on the common man instead of history or God. The main voice behind this new realism in France was Gustave Courbet, a man whose ideas influenced Claude Monet, a painter who wanted to push art's limits even farther, taking inspiration also from the Romanticist painter J.M.W. Turner, who depicted bright, swirling colors. Another inspiration was the often shunned Edouard Manet, who was rejected by the art world for his scandalous subject matter. Claude Monet and his friend, the artist Pierre Renoir, pioneered a new method of art with their first exhibition in 1874 of 30 artists being received poorly. A journalist wrote that Monet's painting, Impression Sunrise, was just that, an impression, a quick sketch one makes before the actual work, not true art. The displayed artists took this criticism with pride, however, adapting the insult into their movement's name, the Impressionists. Made up mainly of around 9 painters, their art continued to shock France into the next decades while growing increasingly experimental. While they viewed the unwilling Manet as their leader, it is Monet who has come to define Impressionism for us today. The American James Whistler, along with Monet's rejections from the Salon, led to the Salon of Rejects, begun by Napoleon III in the early 1860s to display the denied art. But with the Franco-Prussian War, his empire soon collapsed. The Salon of Rejects united the early Impressionists, but the young Frédéric Bazille was tragically killed in the horrific war. And as the years dragged on, the artists began to fracture over such questions as if they should allow Georges Seurat, the creator of pointillism, to join them, or if they should lift their ban on submitting work to the traditional salon, which rejected them in the past. Paul Cézanne was the first to leave, soon followed by Renoir, Degas, and others, as Impressionism, the revolutionary art movement, soon fell apart. However, soon after its demise, Post-Impressionism, led by Cézanne, soon began, with minds like Vincent van Gogh and Paul Gauguin, but I will address them another time. Post-Impressionism led into the modernism close to follow. In Impressionist paintings, the goal is not to paint realistically, but instead to capture the unique playing of light in a scene caught at a glance. Depicting images of nature or the ordinary person, the movement related heavily to the interests of the many, while the artists often created the paintings in real time outdoors to capture the truth of the world in quick brushstrokes. This does not mean that all Impressionism was not in the vein of realism, however, as is evident by many Impressionist works. The major figures within the movement have gone down in history as masterful artists, including 3 women, with Berthe Morisot being considered one of the most subversive and experimental artists in her day. The influence of Impressionism can be seen outside of painting as well, such as the stream of consciousness writings of James Joyce or the swirling compositions of Claude Debussy. The last major step of art before modernism, the beauty and serenity conveyed by these incredible minds will never be washed away from humanity's sight. That's it for today, and as always, we hope you have enjoyed it. Make sure to tune in next time when we bring you more stories from the heart of Iowa.